Once the settler told me, we will take everything because you don't belong here. It's about ethnic cleansing of everyone.
I'm in Israel and Palestine, where everyone is asking the same question. What comes next? What's it like looking out, seeing Gaza being bombed like that?
אני עכשיו לא מעציב אותי כלום, עד שאני לא ישן בשקט.
This is Human, a new series where we try to understand the world by meeting the people living in it.
Look at the numbers. It is one of the most just wars that's ever been fought.
Israel controls Gaza's borders. It controls the airspace.
And there are terrorists who want to kill us. We have a right to put up those borders.
At the expense of people being completely controlled.
At the benefit of
Israelis.
civilians not getting blown up on buses.
It's a land divided by decades of conflict, and in the last few years, there's been an unprecedented level of destruction and violence.
This guy, I had fight with him. He jumped into the car and tried to choke me.
I was there just before the latest ceasefire to see what life is like on the ground.
The guy's coming to shout at us.
Is he?
Yeah. Where's my press card?
For people on such different sides of this story.
הם מתרבים כמו נמלים, מתרבים, הם יוצאים מהאדמה. אי אפשר, זה רק לנקות.
I spent 48 hours in prison. The treatment is beyond description.
Now the hostages have been released, and with governments, humanitarian groups, and human rights organizations all accusing Israel of committing genocide in Gaza, I want to understand what that now means for the future of the people living in the backdrop of such atrocities.
I think October 7th really just gave people permission to be so relentlessly anti-Semitic.
What's happening today is going absolutely in the opposite direction of any sensible solution.
And if there's a real hope for lasting peace.
They're being bombed relentlessly. That is just death, isn't it?
אני אגיד לך את האמת. כל אחד משלם על מה שהוא עשה.
Welcome to Zand.land. This is Human.
So we're basically driving now pretty much as close as you can get to Gaza. Just in front of me is Gaza City. There's so much smoke rising from it. There's Israeli military bases all around me. Are we meant to be here?
No comment.
It's just like no matter what angle you look at this from, it's just hard to kind of comprehend the scale of destruction. All right, so we're basically as close as you can get. As we're standing here, an Apache helicopter has just dropped bombs on Gaza City and started firing a machine gun. It's Shabbat today. There's a group of settlers behind me who are looking on, watching as Gaza is bombed and cheering.
More than 67,000 Gazans killed, entire neighborhoods reduced to rubble, a place already blockaded and broken, now completely destroyed. This didn't begin with the current war. For decades, Palestinians have lived under military occupation, while Israeli control has expanded. The roots go back to the founding of Israel in 1948 and the displacement of Palestinians that came with it. This current chapter of violence started on October 7th, 2023, and the deadliest day in Israel's history. At dawn, Hamas militants broke through the border. Over 1,200 Israelis were killed and 251 taken hostage. One of the first places attacked that day was Sderot, a small Israeli town on the border of Gaza.
We're in the city of Sderot. There are many bodies.
Today, it's home to a viewing platform where residents and visitors can view Gaza being bombed in real time.
That. There's a lot of anger in this town. This is one of the worst hit towns from October the 7th. A lot of people died here. There was a lot of fighting here. And that kind of anger and resentment builds up to this, which is people just observing death and destruction. Tell me why you're here today.
באנו לראות, ראינו קצת מסוקים, שמענו רעשים, וזה רציתי לראות מה הולך.
What's it like looking out, and seeing Gaza being bombed like that?
תשמע, אנחנו רוצים שלא לא יהיה לנו איום מעזה. זה מה שאנחנו רוצים, שלא יהיה לנו איום. אנחנו רוצים לחיות בשקט, זה מה שאנחנו רוצים.
As we're standing here, Gaza's literally being bombed. People are being shot at, food sites, hospitals are being targeted. That sounds like complete destruction, war crimes. Do you not think so?
שמע, אנחנו במלחמה. הם מתחבאים, עוד פעם, הם מתחבאים בין האזרחים. ישראל, כשצה"ל מפציץ, הוא מודיע, הוא מפנה את המקום, לפני שהוא מפציץ, הוא לא מפציץ את האנשים.
Were you here on October 7th?
זה התחיל. היינו עם הילדים והודעות מתחילות להגיע מהמשפחה, תמונות של אנשים שנרצחו והכל. אתה נכנס לפחד, אתה מתחיל להחביא את הילדים בארונות. 7 לאוקטובר נתן לנו שיעור ששלום אי אפשר לעשות עם רוצח. אי אפשר לעשות שלום, רק למחוק. הם מתרבים כמו נמלים. מתרבים, הם יוצאים מהאדמה. אי אפשר, זה רק לנקות. כולם שמחו שמה, כשלקחו את החטופים ואנסו ורצחו. אין שמה חף מפשע.
There's a lot of people who'd look at this and say, a genocide is taking place. What do you think of that?
איך אנחנו נשתוק, נסגור עיניים, נעביר הכל? הלאה? לא, זה לא רצח. אנחנו מגנים על עצמנו.
It's such a highly populated area. People aren't free to leave. They're being bombed relentlessly. That is just death, isn't it? Does that not make you feel sad in any way?
תשמע, אני עכשיו לא מעציב אותי כלום, עד שאני לא אשם בשקט. אני אגיד לך את האמת. כל אחד משלם על מה שהוא עשה.
Oh my God, it's just absolutely relentless. Yet another bomb. You know, on the one hand, this guy he's from this area. They were hit horribly on October 7th, so there's an element you're like, he's full of pain, resentment. On the other hand, like, he doesn't seem to feel any sadness as he stands here. You know, I kind of got a sense that's what people might think, but like, he's the first guy we've approached while standing here, and he has like such extreme views, and he just had no emotion to it, you know, like, it was honestly so upsetting. And as we're doing the interview, there's just non-stop bombardments, non-stop explosions. I don't know, it's just upsetting.
Leaving the border, I wanted to know what it was like being a Palestinian right now, living amongst this hardcore rhetoric. My next stop was East Jerusalem, a place where Palestinian neighborhoods sit under Israeli control and daily life is defined by the constant tension of the conflict, police raids, and checkpoints. At the heart of Jerusalem is the Old City, the holy land for 3 major religions, but also a patchwork of contested streets where history and politics is on show in every corner.
So I'm on my way right now to meet a couple of guys. They're Palestinian. Their shop is in the east of Jerusalem, but they found themselves in a lot of trouble over the last few months.
I was meeting Ahmed Muna. His family own the Educational Bookshop, a small chain of stores in East Jerusalem specialising in books on Palestine, Middle Eastern culture, and the Arab-Israeli conflict. Earlier this year, it was raided by the Israeli police. A news crew captured footage of Ahmed and his uncle being arrested on suspicion of violating public order.
How long's the bookstore been in the family business?
So we opened this bookshop in 1984, so 41 years ago. A 3rd generation to running this bookshop. I worked here as a kid.
Tell me a bit about the raid. So what happened?
They walked in as if they were normal customers. One of them had presented us with a search warrant that they want to search the shop for content that's inciting against the state of Israel. I had a couple of customers, they kicked them out, and they locked the doors. I can only stand there and watch. The raid was aggressive, was basically looking for content in a language they don't understand. So they, at some point, started to decide on the books according to the covers. This book.
No.
This is a 1984 George Orwell, right? Who doesn't know this? This is not 48.
The irony of a police coming in and picking up a 1984 book inside the bookshop.
And he was like, oh, so what happened in 1984? Like
I guess the thing is, there'll be a lot inside these books that is critical of Israel?
Most of the books I have, actually I have a good collection of books that are academic. Do they have critical information? Probably they do, but it's not promoting terrorism. I spent 48 hours in prison, by far the worst 48 hours of my life. The treatment is beyond description. You are someone that they hate. The guards hate you before even they see you, before they know you. We're handcuffed at all times, sometimes blindfolded. I was kept without food for 24 hours.
Ahmed wanted to give me a sense of the reality of living under the thumb of the Israeli authorities, something he says is hugely apparent even when going for a walk around the old city.
I would say the average young Palestinian gets stopped at least once or twice every week.
I was increasingly becoming aware of how watched we were walking through the city.
So what do you think the chances are they'll
stop us
as we walk in?
Yeah, there's a chance. I think it's a 50-50 chance.
Are the guy's coming to shout at us?
Is he?
Yeah, definitely. Hello. Where's my press card?
And yours?
Sorry, here.
No, this you have?
He doesn't have.
I don't have. I'm not
He
filming.
lives here. Why does he need to have a press card?
They are
What you
interviewing.
taking of the questions? What you have?
We're just doing a story about life at the moment in Jerusalem. We spoke
think
to
it's
lots
okay?
of people. Yeah, it's an interesting life. It's fascinating. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Why is he asking you for a press card?
Just because I'm standing with you, then.
So we're just doing
Hi.
England, Britain.
Which is
What camera?
no, the camera.
Doing a documentary at the moment about life in Jerusalem. Yeah, we got press cards, so just thanks. Have a nice day. You know, how do you feel in those moments?
I feel stressed. I feel stressed because if they know I've been arrested 4 months ago and then you're filming me, they will assume, maybe talking about my experience. You can see the cameras right in front of us now filming us. There's like 6, 7 of them over there on the corners of the shop, just above the arch.
As we walked through the old city, it felt like most people were nervous at the sight of cameras. So I was surprised when someone approached us.
Yeah, very nice to meet you. Oh, cool. Very nice to meet you. Oh,
You just moved here. You left the US and you moved here.
Yeah.
Why?
How have you found being here?
I've lived here before for years on and off. I have a U.S. citizenship and I have citizenship here as well. But this has probably been like the most aggressive period I've ever experienced before, especially coming into Jerusalem. The surveillance is higher than ever. I'm from the West Bank and we have settler attacks nearly every single day when we used to have one like once a decade. So I'm from a village called Turmasaya, and 2 days ago, 2 American men from the village right next to mine called El Mizra were murdered by settlers in cold blood. They were literally beat to death, and when we called the U.S. Embassy, they had nothing to say about it. So even with the level of privilege that I have as a U.S. citizen, there's no protection for me whatsoever.
The incident she was talking about happened just a few days earlier in the West Bank. A Palestinian-American man was beaten to death and a Palestinian was shot and killed during a violent clash with Israeli settlers. Israeli citizens who build communities in occupied territories, often violently seizing land. This was one of a growing number of attacks that residents say have become a near daily reality. In towns and villages across the West Bank, Palestinians say they're facing attacks, intimidation, and the constant threat of losing their land. And I was going to meet somebody who's lived that up close.
We've just gone through our first set of checkpoints on the Israeli side. There's nothing, it's open, we can drive in. But on the Palestinian side, that we'll see on the way back, people are stopped. And if you're Palestinian, you can't go through. Hey Alice, how are you doing?
So hi, I'm Alice Kisya. I'm in my land in Al-Makhrur.
Alice, who I'm meeting, is a Palestinian Christian. She's lived in the West Bank her whole life, and in that time, a lot has changed. After the war in Gaza began, the violence and the settler movement in the West Bank has only gathered momentum. Backed by parts of the Israeli government, the settlers have pushed farther and faster than ever before, often with the protection of the army. Since the beginning of 2023, more than 4,000 Palestinian-owned structures have been demolished, and around 1,200 Palestinians have been killed, many by settlers and Israeli forces. Alice went viral after posting about her own fight to hold on to her family's land. She was taking me to Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus Christ.
I mean, it's kind of crazy, isn't it? We're going to the birthplace of Jesus Christ. That is incredible.
You know, Christians around the world, they always wish to come here. They are very religious. They are going according to the Bible, but they forgot that Jesus was born here. And once the settler told me, we will come to Bethlehem and we will evict all Christians and we will take everything because you don't belong here. It's about ethnic cleansing of everyone.
I think I've been here once.
Inside Bethlehem?
Yeah, about 7 years ago, maybe?
7 years is really different.
Yeah, life has changed a lot. The birthplace of Jesus. We are here.
Yeah.
Madness. You kind of can't separate religious tension from...
Look how big it is and how small the door is.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay, so this is the Star of Bethlehem, where Jesus was born.
What's crazy is, you know, before the war/chaos, this would have been so busy.
Yeah.
I came here about 7 years ago. It was impossible to move, and now it's absolutely dead. Travel is much more difficult. People are scared of coming. Alice wanted to take me to the place where everything changed for her family.
It's this land. So we can go up there and do a U-turn and park here, and we can get in.
In 2005, she says they built a home and a restaurant on land that they'd lived on for generations. For a while, life was good and the business thrived. But she said that changed when settlers began moving into the area. Tensions escalated, and the property was bulldozed, not once, but multiple times. Over the years, Alice and her family say they were repeatedly removed from the site. There were violent confrontations. They say they were harassed, beaten, and at times seriously injured. Each time they returned to rebuild, but each time the same thing happened. Destruction, eviction, and violence. Eventually, Alice says she was arrested after settlers accused her of violence.
Don't worry, Alice. She just had an operation and she can't walk, and now they are arresting her.
Let's get in. Basically, this is where everything happened.
Is this literally like the rubble of the restaurant?
Yes, and not only the restaurant. The last time they have uprooted 40 trees. We slept in tents here. So each time we set up a tent, they come and demolish it, especially before Christmas and Easter. We prefer to be refugees in our land rather than to burn somewhere else.
אתה גועל נפש, לא ראית עצמך במראה, כי אתה לא יודע מה זה בן אדם.
Especially this guy. I had fight with him. He jumped into the car and tried to choke me.
Physically choke you?
Yes,
really?
and the police arrested me.
تتكشر لي مشترى. زوز العندينة ولا زوزة.
Sorry, I have to answer.
Oh, answer it. There you go.
Yaba.
For Alice and her family, the settlers pose a constant threat.
خليك معي على الخط. We know a settler's car that's coming from there, so we need to be just far from the door, say they won't start harassing or something, just in case.
Do they have keys?
No, but they always cut the chains.
There's a settler guy who's been bothering her for a while, who is coming to check on her because he's seen her coming to the land. And these things can get a little bit hairy, so it just shows you it's kind of just non-stop confrontations. She's getting kind of constant phone calls from her family members, giving her like locations of settlers. They both know each other's cars, and they're both keeping tabs on each other, which is just so depressing. It's so stressful.
Oh.
Thanks to Alice's network of family and lookouts, a confrontation with the settlers was avoided, and she wanted to take us somewhere a bit safer.
She does have a dog.
This is a temporary house her family are renting.
Is your dog friendly? Hello, how's it going?
Shoo!
Nice to meet you, I'm Ben.
Welcome. Wow, that has 188,000 likes.
Yeah, it's with the hidden color.
That's not a small house. And that's the bulldozers.
Yeah.
Wow. I was just looking at the video of them destroying your house with the bulldozer. That must have been... You can see how upset you are in the video?
Yeah, you can't do anything.
What's going through your head?
Inside me, I can watch. I don't like to see this
Yeah.
video, but I like to remember my home. It's our work, our life.
And with you guys, your house and the business, the family business, what's it like for your dad looking at these videos?
Of course he's upset. شو شعورك تطلع هدول الفيديوهات؟ طب خلص ليش بتبكي؟ تبكيش. He's so sensitive.
I understand.
Because he built it like with his own hands, like everything, even the house he built it. خلص زناخة خلص يا مويس خلص يا مويس. So cute.
In the West Bank, I'd seen what it was like to lose your home and land to settlers. The daily confrontations, the fear, the violence. But back in Israel, it was a very different experience. Just 40 minutes from the catastrophe that is Gaza is the bustling city of Tel Aviv. Here, thanks to plentiful shelters and the Iron Dome, most of the time, the horrors of war can be largely ignored. I was heading to a coffee shop to meet two young podcasters and their producer, who make a show all about Israeli life. Their posts often spoke about the reality of being a woman in Israel today. Fashion, dating. On their podcasts, they do talk about the conflict.
I could have gotten drafted. Did you ever think about doing the army? Yeah.
But it mostly seems to be from the perspective of how to live as a woman despite it.
I know a lot of couples who've been together like their entire service, but then when it comes to the trip, a lot of people are breaking up before.
I wanted to understand what they really thought about what had happened and any sympathy they may have for the other side.
I think it's that place there. Is it these two? Hello, there they are. Hey, how you doing? I'm Ben.
Mariel.
Nice to meet you. How you doing?
Oh wait, that's not my good side, remember?
How would you describe yourselves as human beings?
Basically, I'm Israeli. I was born and raised here. I'm from a really small town in the north.
I came to do a program and I was teaching English for 10 months in Ramla. It's a city outside of Tel Aviv. It just completely wrapped me up in everything and I fell in love with it and I was like, I have to stay.
Did you do military service?
Yeah.
What was that like?
When I was a soldier, it's not like there was a war, but I love my unit and I love what I did. That was the first time in my life as an adult that I opened up to so many different types of people.
What's life like right now? How conscious are you of the fact that a war is going on?
Like you would never know if we weren't sitting here with a square in the background that so many people here are going through such hardship and dealing with multiple wars at the same time. And I think it's just a big testament to Israeli society and the Israeli people. Everyone who's here.
I feel like Israel always been a country who's under a war, but what we have in the past 2 years, it's not like the little wars that I used to have in here when I was a child.
Shay and Marielle wanted to show me Dizengoff Square. It's been turned into a memorial for the victims of the October 7th attacks. The producer of their podcast, Zoe, was also joining us.
People used to grab their coffees and hang out in here. But ever since October 7th, people just put their loved ones, either stickers with
I suppose it's like a constant reminder of what happened that day.
Yeah.
Like these people that you see that there's stickers for from the Nova Festival, I mean, they were just party goers and many of them stayed and fought and able to stand here and do this because of these people. Everything comes at a cost, and I think that one thing that Israelis really focus on is remembering that.
How did that change how you guys feel about your own safety, about the kind of communities around you?
I think October 7th really just gave people permission to be so relentlessly anti-Semitic and not face any sort of consequences, or because it was, all under the guise that it was criticism of Israel. Stereotypes happen here still, but I feel so much safer because I'm with my people.
Why do you think there's criticism for Israel from people you know?
It's such a politically charged situation, and just as I feel that there's a rise in anti-Semitism because of this war, also a lot of people feel that there's a rise of Islamophobia, which there is.
But when October 7th happened, I was really surprised to see the amount of criticism about Israel while we were the one where this disaster happened to them.
How do you see Palestinians?
People.
As a people, yeah. What are your kind of thoughts?
I mean, I think it's something that people have tried to make so political, and I'm they're just people. I went to college with Palestinians, and I'm Jewish, and it wasn't a problem. And the man I get all my kitchen supplies from identifies as Palestinian, and he lives in Israel, and they're just people that I don't think that there's much more to it than that.
Is it upsetting that a lot of people are dying on the Gaza Strip?
I don't want a little Palestinian child to be scared for his life, the same as I don't want my little nephew to be scared for his life.
I mean, I can understand the pain on the Israeli side of kind of losing friends and loved ones and that kind of deep trauma of a society. There's people who have died on both sides, but it's a complete imbalance on the actual death toll.
It always feels so unjust and unfair when it comes to this war specifically, and you do look at the numbers. It is one of the most just wars that's ever been fought. When you look at terrorist to civilian ratio, we have to eliminate that threat, and then there are civilian casualties around that. And I think that a lot of people here also believe that it's for the betterment of their society.
Is that kind of based on the idea that the majority of people in the Gaza Strip are terrorists?
Not at all.
Is that the sense? Because I guess how do you rationalize it being the most just war?
Israel controls Gaza's borders. It controls the airspace. It controls the humanitarian aid that's going into Gaza.
There's IDF soldiers coming out saying the tactics being used are kind of tantamount potentially to war crimes within the situation. There is just an imbalance.
Then there are terrorists who want to kill us. We have a right to put up those borders. We have a right to put up those walls. It protects us. Have you heard of all the intifadas?
Yes.
Okay, so after that, they put in way more borders, way more checkpoints, and it stopped.
Yes, at the expense of people being completely controlled.
At the benefit of
Israelis.
Civilians not getting blown up on buses.
If it's a state that is being occupied and controlled, that's where terrorism comes from. You remove that.
No, it's not. You can claim all you want. You don't know the nuances of what it's like to live in a place like this. And you're just saying, all these whataboutisms. What are we supposed to respond to that?
A former Prime Minister of Israel came out and said, this is ethnic cleansing, what's happening in Gaza.
Did any of us say that we thought it was an excuse to wipe out Gaza?
It's not entirely clear. I'm going to be honest. It's not.
And this is the problem that we have when people are like, I am committing a genocide. I would never support a genocide. Why would I want to see a whole population wiped out?
But you're ignoring the fact, right now we're sitting in a beautiful space in Tel Aviv. 45 minutes down the coastline is Gaza. The contrast is wild. So I'm trying to understand what it's like to kind of go through that.
People should be happy that there are people who are able to have normal lives amidst this. I wish the Palestinians could have the same. It's not Maria Zoe and Shai fault for it. It's definitely the people who controls the Gaza Strip coal. I would also wish people to understand that probably the biggest people who have criticism about the Israeli government are Israelis. In the meantime, if we don't prioritize ourselves, our own lives, our own well-being, literally who will? The world won't. We have to.
The conversation was getting a bit intense. So to cool off, we headed to Charles Claw Beach. It's a popular tourist spot in Tel Aviv. Until 1948, though, it was the Palestinian neighbourhood of Al Mansiyah. It was destroyed during the war that led to the creation of Israel, with much of the area later cleared for development. Today, there's no visible trace of the homes that once stood here. Just sand, sea, and a park.
Coming to the beach and seeing everybody continue to live their lives brings me such a sense of peace, and it always makes me feel so much better.
Some people would look at it and say, should you feel guilty for being on the beach whilst just down the road? Lots of people are dying.
We're so lucky that our physical reality does not look the same as 45 minutes down, even though it very well could if certain things weren't in place, like the Iron Dome and bomb shelters and certain, military actions.
At the end of the day, I am just a person, and this girl that do aqua yoga in here, or this guy that meditate in here, we're all just people who need to take care of themselves.
I'm English.
You're from London.
You're from London, okay.
Yeah, awesome. Nice one, man. I mean, just everyone here is so hot on it. Even that guy stopping me to figure out who we are, what we're saying. And it shows you that everybody is really hyper-conscious about how Israelis are being portrayed at the moment. And you get that from talking to those women. I mean, I quite like them as people. They were girls who were just trying to have a bit of fun in life. Because I suppose at some point you're like, well, I'm an Israeli living here. I'm not just going to continually think about the fact people are dying because I want to live my life, and I do get that. But at the same time, it's really difficult to ignore the fact, there's another military plane flying past just down the road. Gazans were being bombed relentlessly. Yeah, that's hard for me to wrap my head around. It really is.
On the beach in Tel Aviv, the devastation caused by this conflict can feel far away. But for many Israelis, October 7th is never out of sight.
So all these yellow flags on the road are to commemorate the hostages that were taken on October 7th. I mean, this is, pretty hard to walk amongst, like, the sheer scale of the attack. This was the dance floor. These are all the people that were killed on that day in October. And, being here, you can understand the level of pain and resentment the Israelis feel. But on the other hand, I can hear actual, bombs going off in Gaza, which is only over there.
No matter where you look, there's just so much tragedy. After 2 years, the final living hostages were returned to Israel. During that time, protesters marched every week to demand an end to the war so that they could come home.
I've heard so much about the hostages from pretty much everyone I've spoken to on the Israeli side. And you really can't separate it from what's going on in Gaza right now. Everywhere you go, there are posters about them, and there's a big protest I'm about to go to that happens every single week with people demanding the government take action.
The weekly protests at Hostage Square, running since late 2023, have drawn thousands of frustrated Israelis demanding action. But a report in 2025 from the Israeli Democratic Institute found that 79% of Israelis were largely unconcerned about the situation in Gaza. The protests appeared not to be about ending the suffering of Palestinians, but focused solely on securing the hostages' release.
Well, I'm Jonathan. I'm a member of the social struggle movement. I'm a student. And I came here to these protests, to protest against the genocidal war of this government.
How has it got to this point?
Israel has been founded as a perch hold for a lot of governments in the Middle East. And it did it by displacing an existing population. That was in 48, and it's very much what they did. And the root of their existence is we need to displace these people. They are not someone that we can rely on to build our state.
So I personally have had friends killed in this conflict, and I won't hide my feelings of anger and revenge, but I think that's a sovereign nation and a state shouldn't exact those policies.
יש פה ממשלה ימנית, קיצונית, משיחית, שמקדמת חוקים של דיקטטורה, שפוגעת בבסיס הדמוקרטי של מדינת ישראל. בגלל כל הדברים האלה אני כאן, כדי להגיד שהמלחמה הזאת צריכה לעצור, צריך לחתור להסכם מדיני של שלום.
As the protest ended and the posters came down, I was headed back to the old city with the biggest question of all. What did the future actually look like? It was a question I wanted to put to Ahmed. I knew he wouldn't have all the answers, because how could he? But as a Palestinian man who'd spent his whole life living under occupation, I wanted to know what hope looked like.
You smell the falafel.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. The food here is incredible. Obviously, there's a lot of...
I try not to miss the food when I'm here. Like when I'm in the old city, I try to go for it. Shall we stop for a quick bite? I'm gonna get a sandwich, basically.
Wow. Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
It's a traditional falafel shop that have existed here, I don't know for how long, but I remember it since I was a little boy.
The most difficult question of all, where was falafel invented?
Where was falafel invented? Wow. Falafel was invented in the Middle East.
It's funny, isn't it? Falafel is like the microcosm for so much complexity, so much dispute over origins, so much dispute over ownership.
And you know what?
It all boils down to a piece of chickpea.
A lot of the food in this region is invented in this region somehow, but every country takes claim to it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think it's obviously the million-dollar question, what is the end point? The kind of conflict has not been this bad, for a long time. Gaza is destroyed.
I think for the last 77 years here, there has been a situation of injustice. For the last 57 years, there has been an illegal occupation that is basically making the life of people in the West Bank, in East Jerusalem, and in the Gaza Strip miserable. I can't tell you how many problems there are. Time has come for a better solution, for a better life for people here.
Is it a two-state solution? Is it one state with Arabs?
Look, the two-state solution is the most spoken about solution, is the most accepted perhaps internationally. I don't think it's a viable solution today. I think the two-state solution, if you look at the Palestinian future state of how it will look like, I don't think it looks like a state. It looks like a Swiss cheese. I think, theoretically speaking, a one-state solution is it's just a better solution.
One state with equality for all.
When Palestinians and Israelis can live in one state under the same law, with the same privileges, with the same duties, with the same responsibilities.
What happens about Palestinian land that's been...
All the Palestinians will be able to live anywhere on that state that they want, and all Israelis can live whenever they want. If we really want to look forward, maybe we should just drop it and leave it behind us and come to a point of view, of understanding, where both people are willing to move forward together. We're living in a situation where the Israeli public is becoming more and more right-wing, where settlers and settler colonial mindset is taking over, but feeding into that narrative that, we want to finish off all the Palestinians. The solution that I described to you is my dream solution, but
We don't think it's realistic.
What's happening today is going absolutely in the opposite direction of any sensible solution, and I think it's a very realistic solution if we actually put our heads into it.
Ahmed's idea of a single state with equal rights for all might feel impossible, but in a place where nothing feels possible anymore, the idea of imagining something better matters. Everyone I spoke to, Israelis, Palestinians, wanted an end to years of violence.
I actually have another...
Their visions for how were completely different, but they all could agree on one thing. This can't go on.